All right, guys, here we are on page 3, starting with number 17 of the Math 6 semester final study guide. This is still a no calculator section. So number 17 says find the value, 2 to the third. And remember, this is the number we use as the factor, and this is the number of times we use it as the factor, base and exponent. So this is 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Took care of both of those. And then 4 times 2 is 8. And so we're looking for the answer of 8, which is C. Evaluate the following expression, number 18. This is an order of operations problem, so we want to remember order of operations, PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide in order from left to right, and add and subtract in order from left to right. Alrighty, so we have 122 minus 28 times 4. So no parentheses, no exponents, multiply or divide. We have a multiplication problem here, so we're going to do that multiplication problem first. And multiply 28 times 4. 4 times 8 is 32. Put down my 2, carry my 3. 4 times 2 is 8, and 3 more is 11. So that's 112. So we took care of those. That's gone. And then we bring down our 122 minus 112. So we do 122 minus 112. 0, 1, 0. So our answer should be 10 that we're looking for. So B is 10. Alrighty, number 19. Evaluate this expression. Okay, we've got 16 divided by 8 minus 6 times 3 squared minus 1. According to our order of operations, we do parentheses first. Here's a parenthesis problem. I'll write everything else down, except I'm going to do the math in here. And once we do that math, we're done with the parentheses. So 8 minus 6 is 2. Write everything else down just the way it was. Now we took care of our parentheses. Now we go and look for exponents. Sure enough, I have an exponent here. 3 squared is 9. So 16 divided by 2 times 9 minus 1. Now we're going to multiply. We took care of exponents. We're going to multiply and divide in order from left to right. So 16 divided by 2 is 8, and then times 9, and then minus 1. And I'm out of room here, so I'm going to move my problem up here. A little squiggly here so we don't get our math confused. Alrighty, so now I can do my 8 times 9, which is 72. And finally, I can subtract my 1, and we've got 71. So we're looking for an answer of 71 over here, and I see that with A. Okay, now we're going to name our properties. This property is 7 plus 2 equals 2 plus 7. We've commuted or changed the order of the numbers, so that's the commutative property, and this is addition. So we're looking for commutative property of addition, and that's B. Commutative property, change the order. Alrighty, down here we're looking for the property that we see here. So what we've done is we've taken the 2 and distributed it over the 4x and the 5. So we've taken 2 times 4x to get our 8, and then 2 times 5 to get our 10, and kept the operation symbol that was in there. So we've distributed, that's the distributive property. So D. The long name of that is distributive property of multiplication over addition. Alrighty, for number 22 here, we need to find an example that shows the identity property of addition. So that means we want to start with a number, add something, and end with the same number. And of course that's right here. 9 plus 0 equals 9, so that's A. Now we're into some decimals. We want to compare these two numbers. So remember, when we're comparing decimals, the important thing is to line the numbers up around the decimal point. So I've got my numbers lined up around my decimal point, and I compare, starting from the left, digit by digit. So 6's don't tell us anything, 2's don't tell us anything, but notice that this number has a 7 in the hundredths place. That makes this number larger than this number with a 1 in the hundredths place. Even though this number is longer, this number is bigger. And so we want our less than symbol to go here, because 6 and 217 thousandths is smaller than 6 and 27 hundredths. And so we're looking for A there. Now we want to order our decimals. Again, we want to pay attention to which way we're ordering them, and this is least to greatest. Again, I'm going to line those up. 4 and 769 thousandths. lining up the decimal points, 4 and 904 thousandths, 4 and 422 thousandths. Same thing, 4s don't tell us anything. The 10th digit tells us that this is the smallest number because it has a 4 as opposed to a 7 or a 9. So 4 and 422 is the smallest number. Between these two, this one's smaller, 4 and 769 thousandths. And then finally, this is our largest, 4 and 904 thousandths. Now I have to think about these as money. $4.40 is smaller than $4.70, and that's smaller than $4.90. So we're looking for them in this order. And as I look here, I see that A has that order. All right, choose the number line that has 5 and 8/10 correctly plotted. Well, this one's right between 5 and 6, so that's more like 5.5. B over here has my decimal, my dot for my decimal closest to 6. That's a good contender. Let's compare the other ones. Over here, the dot's before 5, so that's not going to be it. And over here, we've got the dot closer to 5 than to 6, so that's not going to be it, because 5 and 8/10 is going to be closer to 6 than it is to 5. And so, having looked at all the options, B is our best option. All right, now we're solving 14 and 37/100 plus 8 and 4/10. Remember that we want to line up the decimals when we add, and only when we add. We don't care about lining them up when we are multiplying. So 14 and 37/100, and we're going to add 8 and 4/10. Lined up the decimal points, add a 0 there for a place value holder. We're adding 7 plus 0 is 7, 3 plus 4 is 7, bring my decimal point down. 8 plus 4 is 12, carry my 1. So I'm looking for 22 and 77/100, and I see that in C. All right, number 27 is to subtract 45 and 8/10 minus 2 and 423 thousandths. Remember to line up those decimal points. Add a couple zeros for placeholders. Can't take 3 away from 10. Have to go all the way over here to borrow. Make that a 7, and this one a 10. Borrow from that, make that a 9, and this one a 10. 3 from 10 is 7. 2 from 9 is 7. 4 from 7 is 3. Bring down the decimal point. 2 from 5 is 3. 4 minus nothing is 4. So I'm looking for 43 and 377 thousandths, and I see that right there. Alrighty, number 28, last one on this page, 6 and 1/10 times 3 and 5/10. Remember that I am not purposefully lining up those decimal points. They just happen to fall that way. This is a multiplication problem. I ignore the decimal points till the very end. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 6 is 30. Add a 0 because I'm moving over a place value. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Add it up. 5, 3, 11, 2. Now I care about this. There are 2 numbers behind the decimal points in the problem, so we put 2 numbers behind the decimal point in the answer, and I am looking for 21 and 35/100, and I see that right there. All right, that's the end of page 3 up to number 28. Next video will be page 4 starting with 29.